Hello again, this is Mike and I am the Sports History Collector. Today we have Athletes at War Volume 9, World War II, featuring baseball's Don Kolloway. Don was one of the few players we've talked about that actually had 4 years of MLB service before being called into military service in 1944. Don played parts of 12 seasons, amassing a .271 lifetime batting average and proving to be a solid utility infielder by being able to play first, second, third, and even a little outfield. Definitely a nice, solid baseball career. As nice as it was, his main contribution may have been in Europe with the Army. Don was a combat medic, Bronze Star and Purple Heart recipient who initially served in the 69th Infantry Division's 271st Infantry Regiment. Kolloway did not enter combat until January 1945. However, his relatively short time facing hostile fire was eventful and something he would never forget. Many here have probably seen their fair share of war movies or heard war stories, and pretty much everyone depicts the combat medic as foregoing his own safety to helping his wounded comrades. Earning the Bronze Star just proves that Don was all about that. On April 19, 1945, with Kolloway present, the 69th Division liberated a sub-camp of the concentration camp Buchenwald called Leipzig-Thekla, I believe that's how it was pronounced. It was a forced labor camp housing, at its peak, around 1,400 people. On the day before the Fighting 69th's arrival, about 400 prisoners were present in the camp. However, German SS guards executed more than 300 of them by locking them in a building and burning them alive and shooting dead those who somehow managed to escape the flames. By the time Kolloway and his fellow soldiers arrived, it is estimated that there were 90 to 100 survivors of the camp, clinging to life, which undoubtedly kept medic Kolloway busy treating them. Just as every GI witnessed one of those camps, Kolloway was stunned and saddened by what he had seen. Excuse me. He kept as a memory a photo taken of him walking in the camp with several dead bodies next to him. On the back of the photo, Kolloway wrote, "One of the Nazi prison camps, evidence of the atrocities that they committed." Kolloway's daughter, Karen Kolloway Parker, said that her father, who happened to be one of German ancestry and a first-generation American citizen, was for the rest of his life incredibly disturbed by what he witnessed in his parents' homeland. When the war ended in Europe, he was stationed in Germany and served as a driver for Lieutenant E.D. Darlington of the American military government, and also had a chance to play some baseball for the 29th Infantry Division Blue and Gray's ball team, the 7th Army champions. Don Kolloway, thank you for your service and sacrifice. Now today I'm showing a beautifully signed 1951 Bowman of Mr. Don Kolloway, and it for a card that is 72 years old, this thing almost looks pack fresh. There are there's not many cards from this era that look this nice. Whoever owned this card over the years kept this thing pristine, and slight corner wear, but the colors just burst out. Beautifully colored blue hat with the orange Detroit logo on the hat. The white of the uniform with the blue piping and the blue top of the D for Detroit, and the beautifully signed right over Don Kolloway and nice blue pin Don Kolloway across the chest. But I had a choice between this 51 and a 52. The 52s I usually like a little better. It was a nice pose of him catching the ball out in front like he was catching the ball at first base with a smile on his face. Card was not in quite as good a condition. Not many are. Signature was probably a little lesser. But I'll tell you what, considering the atrocities that Don saw at that camp, this card seemed to fit it so much better. The shadowing on the side of his face, under his eyes, under the brim of his hat, the stern look on his face, like he is just remembering some of those things he saw at war. It's very haunting and very moving, and I thought was definitely a fitting addition to my collection, and this is a card I will cherish for quite a long time. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the story of Don Kolloway, and we'll talk to you soon.
Every evening after sundown, as the